Wala kang pera, wala kang influence, wala kang power. Yung influence mo yung idealism lang. Pagdating mo sa real-life politics, palitan, lahat ng pera, lahat ng power, nandyan. Pero minsan nawawala yung idealism. Hindi masama mag-compromise kung win-win situation ang hinahanap mo. Pero masama mag-compromise kung prinsipyo mo ang kino-compromise mo. In other words, kung may binibenta ka. Kung hindi mo binenta, yung nire-represent mo yung students mo, pero may compromise that would benefit or would meet the attempt, hindi mo binenta kasama mo. Pero pag binenta mo, yun ang compromise na hindi maganda. So, tamang-tama ang dating ko sa Senate na yung UP bill na beaten last time. So, as chairman of the Committee on Education, nag-meeting kami, nag-hearing kami, hindi talaga magkasundo yung dalawang sides. The more radical side of UP, may mga demands. Yung UP administration may demands. Akala namin, akala namin, hindi mapag-debate. In fact, nagalit na sa amin yung isang side. But what happened? The weekend before the BICAM, tinatawag kami ni Congresswoman Villar, invite kami for lunch, nag-usap kami at sinabi niya, kami nasa land development. Pag sa'yo yung lupa na parentahan mo, magkamali ka man, after 10 years, 25 years, sa'yo pa rin yun. Nabenta mo, wala ka na. Sasabihin mo lang, sayang, ba't ko nabenta? So sabi niya, ako, I want to make a stand. Hindi ko ito ibebenta. Hindi ako papayag na mabenta yung lupa sa UP. Hindi yun yung consensus ng araw. Yung consensus, payagan na magbenta. So we go to our BICAM, I call the other group, yung admin group, nausap ko na parati. I call the other group, yung grupo ng iba-ibang asosasyon sa UP. Medyo may tampo pa sa akin because pinatami na nga namin yung UP charter. I talk to them. We say, sabi ko, regardless of how we feel about each other, let's talk about the issues. We talked about certain issues. We went out, maybe not loving each other, but agreeing on some concepts. We talk to them as people, pwede bang wala na mag-attend ng BICAM, kami na lang. Nag-argue. Pati naglalapit through some senators, through text messages, yung admin, payagan ibenta. I talked to Senator Kiko, I talked to Congresswoman Villar. Eto suntok sa buwan. What if lagyan natin ng 100 million for the next 5 years ang UP, let's call it a centennial fund. Total, kung ibebenta niyo yung lupa, baka 20 million lang yan, baka 50, whatever. Ito 100 million, wala ka nang ibebenta. Total, napakalaki. Ang program fund ng gobyerno, more than 35 billion. What's 100 million? Sabi, let's talk to Senator Enrile, etc. Pumayag. Finally, pumayag si Senator Kiko, pumayag yung admin, pumayag. We passed the bill. It's now in the bill. Will you get the 100 million? I hope so. Babantayan namin sa October, November. Pero hindi inalis ng Presidente. In fact, hinighlight pa nga nila. So, looking back, 10 years ago when I was in law school, 20 years ago when I was graduating from high school and was in UPLB, I wouldn't say that I would be able to give a small part in the new UP Charter and make a small impact dito sa Centennial Fund. But it happened. And it was just a suggestion na really high-tech na research talagang na-discern na and we got it out of the air. No? And right now, I gave notice to President Roman. I said I want a board-led study into the tuition fees and into the funds of UP. I believe that we can take the lead and that we can have a more progressive tuition fee and scholarship program. Diba? And I believe that we can do this, we can have a real student loan. Isang pinag-aaralan namin ngayon sa US, ang student loan na sa SSS. Lahat naman ng graduate gusto magtrabaho. At lahat ng magtatrabaho, kakaltasan kayo. Two things sigurado kakaltas. One is withholding tax. And secondly is either SSS or GSIS, depending if you're government or private. So yung questioning, bakit Chet ang may hawak ngayon ng study now, pay later, pero pila forever? No? Meaning, bago mo makuha, even if you have a study now, pay later, it's not enough. Alam mo, nakakainis, na nakakatiyak, na hindi mo maintindihan yung feeling, nanonood ka ng TV, na nag-drop out mga Filipino students, na walang makuhang scholarships. Tapos manonood ka ng CNN, ini-interview sa Amerikano, na nangutang ng $200,000 na napautang sa study ng pay later, pero 50,000 lang ang ginastos niya sa education, pinag-multime daw niya yung 150,000. Sa sobrang luwag ng system nila, abuse na ang pinag-uusapan. sa sobrang higpit ng pinag-usapan natin, it's only those who already can afford who can get extra aid to survive. Pero yung walang-wala, talagang hindi basta makakapag-aral. So one thing we're thinking about is why not have a system na pwede kang mangutang from the SSS. Total, pagka graduate ka, wala kang trabaho, pareho tayong talo. Talo ka, wala kang trabaho. Talo din ang gobyerno, di ba? Pero kung magtatrabaho ka, panalo ang gobyerno, babayad ka ng income tax, pero madaling ibawas ang inutang mo dahil idadagdag lang eh. Ibig na binabawasan ka ng 300 a month ng SSS, mabawasan ka ng 600, something like that. No? So, I mentioned this not to sell you the program. I mentioned this to tell you that your ideas, small, etc., given the right timing, the right position, and the right strategy, can get done. So ano ngayon kung bata kang politiko? It's not kung bata ka o hindi. It's whether are you determined to make a difference? Are you determined or will you be happy just being there? And the problem is, it is so easy to just be happy being there. And that's what happened to me pagdating ng election cheating. Bakit? Sinabi ko kanina, I ran for vice mayor, naproklama ako 3 years later, nung congressman na ako. Isipin nyo na after that experience, dapat raring to go ako against cheating dito sa Congress. Ang problema, pagdating ko sa Congress, panalo na ako eh. Di ba? So pag panalo ka na, yung issue ng cheating seems far away. Pag talo ka at nanaya ka, doon ka nagrararara about cheating. No? So in 2004, namuntik na ako madaya ulit. And noong 2007, nung talagang inattempt nila na nakawin ang pangalan ko at hindi ako manalo, doon naging klaro na kahit panalo ka, kailangan paglaban mo, yung kailangan baguhin sa sistema. So sa 2004, I had a chance to insert a lot of things in the election code. Let's welcome Secretary Mike Defensor. Having nasabay kami ng automation, yung bill for automation. Anong isa naging problema namin sa dayaan sa election? Yung copy ng election paraphernalia, no? Yung certificate of canvas. Ang binibigyan lang niya, majority at minority party. Okay? So what's one thing that Senator Dick Gordon and Congressman Locsin and myself pushed for? Dapat, and Senator Osmeña. Senator Osmeña sabi, dapat may isang kopya na naka-paste sa blackboard. At ako, pinagawa ko naman election offense, natanggalin yon o yung teacher, hindi ilagay yon. So ngayon, kahit na wala kang kopya, kung matyaga ka lang, hintayin mo na i-post ng teacher doon, kunan mo ng cellphone mo ng camera. So dati, kung hindi ka minority o majority, small party ka o local party, wala kang kalaban, dapat wala kang tawag. Ngayon, more or less, meron. It's a small step, no? But just to show you that if you do care and to be illegal, you can do something about it. But let me wrap up so that I can hear Mike speak and then we can have a good open forum. But let me just, if you're going to ask me what are my political beliefs, ideology, programs, etc., let me sum it up in 2 words. Pragmatic idealism. Sobrang kang idealistic, pero hindi ka magiging practical, magiging santo ka, pero hindi ka magiging politiko. Okay? Pag sobrang kang mag-practical, pero wala kang idealism, magiging demonyo pa naman, hindi santo, pero hindi ka rin magiging mabuting politiko. So I do believe, regardless of our difference in approaches, in ideology, etc., there is room really to be both pragmatic and idealistic. I'll give you a best example, again, elections. Many are saying elections are too expensive. I agree. But hindi practical na sabihin, dapat may kandidatong hindi gagastos. Kasi it's not real. In the real world, lahat ng election cost money all over the world. So how can you be both idealistic and pragmatic? The problem is not the cost of elections. The problem is where is the money coming from and where is it going.